Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, DrupalCon, on day 2 of this event. It's wonderful to have you all here again for the second day of the first ever virtual DrupalCon. It's also been fantastic to see all of your feedback in the global event chat and on Twitter throughout the event. When we at the Drupal Association decided to convert to a virtual event, we weren't really sure at all how it would be received, how it would go, but I think yesterday proved that it's been a fantastic success. And it's been wonderful seeing the sessions you all have presented, seeing the way that you have participated in chat with each other, talked in the networking areas, or gone to the contribution spaces to contribute to Drupal itself. So it's been really amazing to see the community response, and we're thrilled to have you here. In just a moment, we'll be presenting the Drupal Initiatives Plenary, and I'll be handing that off in just a second. I wanted to say quick congratulations to the trivia winners from yesterday. So yesterday we had 2 teams that actually tied in trivia. So the teams were the Wizards of Ur and the team ironically named WordPress. So very funny, well done. And there'll be trivia again today. So make sure to organize your teams ahead of the trivia starting and you'll be ready to go. But without further ado, I do want to jump into the Initiatives Plenary. This is a great place to see what's coming for the future of Drupal, a wonderful follow-up to the Dries note yesterday. To introduce this plenary, I'd like to hand it off to Lynn Capozzi, the CMO at Acquia, to tell you what this is all about.
Thanks, Tim. Hello, everyone. Great job yesterday. I'm excited for day 2 of DrupalCon. As I was kind of thinking about it, my first DrupalCon that I attended actually was in 2019 and so I'm excited, very excited. 2009, actually. I'm correcting myself there. So very excited to be here today. I wanted to just talk a little bit about kind of what's new at Acquia, point you in a few directions about where to go and how you can find out what's new from us, and ask you to come see us. So first of all, we are in the exhibit hall. And so we have a booth, and we'll be manning that booth all day today, so you can come stop by. Let me tell you a little bit about what's happening in the booth. We had a great session yesterday led by Angie that was you can now watch on demand. It was bridging the gap from D7 to D9. It was in that session, amazing comments. So that's still accessible so that you can take a look at that. Today, one of my colleagues, Eric Fullerton, will be presenting on how open applies to marketing. So whether you're a site builder, an operator, a marketer, a content creator, someone that manages content, we have kind of a little bit of everything for you if you come to the booth, and you'll be able to see lightning presentations that we're doing on a variety of different topics. Some of them are very, very, very deep down technical, and some are a little bit more higher level if we're dealing with content. But please come see us. That's a great session for you to attend if you are a marketer or you have anything to do with content. That session tomorrow and how open applies to marketing, I think will be fabulous for you. On Thursday, we have a partner panel that we're running with some of our great partners. So Dave Bohr, who runs our partner marketing organization, is running a panel with 3 wonderful partners that we have who are very knowledgeable. The partners are Third and Grove, FFW, and Media Current. So please make sure if you want to hear kind of what's going on the partner side, you can come to see that panel. The panel is Digital Transformation Makes the Earth Flat Again. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting that way. We have a lot of material for you to come see again, whether you're on the developer side or you're on marketing and content side. We have a lot going on around Drupal 9 and migration. So we already have a lot of content, a lot of material, a lot of tools to help with that migration. You heard some of it yesterday about it from Angie. And so really encourage you to come talk with us and see what's like on the migration side. Personally, I'm not a developer, but I am a marketer, and hopefully I've been marketing Drupal for a long time and will continue to do that. Yesterday, one of my favorite sessions was the nonprofit group, the nonprofit session. I thought that was wonderful, near and dear to my heart. And I do have to tell you that my absolute favorite, although I run into many, many Drupal applications and Drupal sites all around the world and organizations that use Drupal. I'll share my absolute favorite is the work that is being done by Boston Children's Hospital. And their Drupal application actually is a training tool that saves many lives of children all around the world, and I'm super proud of that. And that probably is my personally my absolute favorite. Every day I get to work with great Drupalists. I get to work and deal with Dries and Angie. And one of the folks also is Gabor. And Gabor is, I'm going to introduce him for running the panel. He's going to be covering the initiatives, Drupal initiatives panel. And I do have to say that Gabor internally is one of my go-to folks for Drupal. And I've known him a very long time. And really, he is a great voice for Drupal and the community within Acquia. And so it's my pleasure to turn it over to Gabor.
Thank you, Lynn. Hi, everyone. This is Gabor Hojci from Acquia, and I am not the star of this show. I've been the organizer of this Initiative Leads Plenary and the one before in Amsterdam, but the idea actually comes from Angie Byron because we are seeing a lot of inspiring and thought-provoking content from Dries that sets kind of the stage of the future of Drupal. And it's been amazing to see the comments in the chat and how people reacted to that. But there's also all of these initiatives with their actual leaders that are people that are worth to get to know. And there's no space in the Dries note for that. And I think it's very important for us to meet these people face to face and see what they are working on, what their struggles are, what their goals are, how they are getting things done. So in this session, you get a broad level overview of how Drupal operates, what the initiatives are, what some of the key initiatives are. Obviously, we don't have space for all the initiatives in this session either, but we are trying to fill in the gaps so you know a lot more about what's going on in Drupal. And maybe you get to have some ideas for contributing. So we'll have the mentoring initiative presenting at the end that's going to help you start on your contribution journey if you're looking to contribute to some of these initiatives. So without further ado, I would like to hand this over to Kaleem as he will talk about events. So this is our first topic for today. And here's Kaleem. Take it over.
Hello, Gabor. Thank you so much for having me. First, I would like to say, again, thank you so much for the Drupal Association and for Gabor for start doing this. This is very important for everybody to kind of hear from some of us initiative leads to see what's going on. So what is the Drupal Event Organizers Working Group, and why should anyone here care? Today, I'm just going to kind of talk about where we are, but before I do that, who is this person? My name is Kaleem Clarkson. I'm co-founder of Blemmy Inc. We are remote employee experience consulting firm that helps with onboarding and offboarding. So if you have any challenges there, please feel free to reach out. But I also organize Drupal Camp Atlanta. So what is the Drupal Event Organizers Working Group? Plain and simple, it's a group of event organizers from around the globe who are concerned with supporting each other. We want to be able to have best practices. And these events can really be any type of event. They can range from summits, training days, contribution days, and really our mission is to just support community-led teams to grow through local events. And if you're an event organizer of any sort, whether it's, again, camps, summits, training days, meetups, you're more than welcome to participate. So our vision, during this time of uncertainty, existing organizers can basically receive help from other organizers. Prime example, Avi Schwab from MidCamp, he has advised more than a half dozen other camps in regards to going online. So why should we care? Come for the software, stay for the community. We've heard this talked about a lot. And really, in Dries' words, it's really the community and not so much the software that makes the Drupal project what it is. Drupal is humans and synchronous conversations. It just builds deeper connections between people. So yeah, it's critical. It's critical for us to continue building the community because you can only get so far face to face. So what are some of the So why Drupal events? Well, first, onboarding. I wish I could see everybody out there, but I would ask you all to raise your hands if a Drupal camp was the first experience that you've had with Drupal. For many clients, it's the first experience. For many end users, I know for me, it was my first experience. I remember Dave Terry was running Drupal Camp Atlanta, and that was my first experience. Also, relationships. Relationships are critical. You can only build so many relationships virtual. I know we're all web developers, but to really further on those relationships, to build meaningful relationships, it's really critical to get to meet people face to face. Also, marketing. Can you imagine how many we have? Well over 100 events globally, I believe. There's a lot of marketing that happens for the Drupal project, between Twitter, between all the stuff that we do. So how can you participate? Well, you can join the website. You can see it there. We have a community event organizer website there. We also have the monthly Zoom calls that you can participate. Those are really great. I love those because you can just hop on a call. And again, this is open for any person. Please, if you are thinking about an event, you want to do an event, you've done an event in the past, you can join these calls. So how did we get there? In November of 2018, we had our first call. Moved to 2019, the Drupal Association and Rachel helped set up a roundtable at DrupalCon Seattle. Then after that, we decided to submit a charter to Dries and the Drupal Association. And last year at DrupalCon Amsterdam, we were officially announced as an official working group. And just yesterday, we've elected our final 2 board members. So, there was a little bit of time that slowed us down due to, where the world is today, but we are moving along. So what have we been working on? This awesome events database. This is something that we're very, very excited about. It's a central location for statistics. So if you have an event, please go there, submit your previous events, submit your upcoming events. We're trying to build a central location so that we can have very powerful data. Just imagine, could you imagine if we could say X number of people attended volunteer-led Drupal events? I think that's a very powerful thing, and we're really looking forward to it. We also have the website starter kit that we're kind of working on. We're in the very beginning phases. Kudos to JD and the team from Drupal Europe who have kind of submitted some of their Drupal 8 code, but we're really hoping to kind of work on this next so that Drupal camp organizers don't have to spin up new sites every single time. So like I mentioned earlier, we have elected our first set of board of directors. We have 2 more names that we can't reveal quite yet. Hopefully in the next 24 to 48 hours, these people will accept. But I'd like to say thank you to Camillo, Batty, Suzanne, Leslie, Matt, Avi. We got Hungary, we have Europe, Canada, and we're also looking to add some more international participants. So we're really excited about that. So again, right back to how you can participate. Go to Drupal.org, community event organizers, join the monthly Zoom calls. There's a link there. We have an event organizer Slack. We have an email newsletter, and we also have a Drupal issue queue. Please participate. We're looking for as many people as possible. Again, this is a global network. We're having meetings at 2 different times. We're promoting our meetings in UTC, so we're alternating every other month between 11:58 and 11:50 a.m. UTC and 11:58 p.m. UTC. So please, the more people we have, the better. The more data that we can get, the better. And that's it. Pachakucha.
Yeah, thank you, Kaleem. All right, so next up is Tara. Take it away, Tara.
Thank you. Cool. I think there we go. There's my text. I am Tara King. I work at Pantheon. Thank you so much, Gabor, for having me here. I'm here to talk about Drupal diversity. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Sparkling Robots, and I'm speaking to you today from Tewa Lands in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And today is my birthday. And I mentioned that because I am super excited. It's the best possible birthday present to be able to speak to you about something that matters so much to me, which is Drupal diversity and inclusion. We're an all-volunteer working group founded in 2016 by Nikki Stevens. We have a leadership team of about 6 people, and there are over 745 people in our channel as of this morning. And our goal is really to continue the conversation about diversity and inclusion within Drupal and to provide a safe space to discuss those issues within the Drupal community. And I went to the channel and I asked the group what they wanted me to talk about, and the answer was clear. They wanted me to talk about racism, systemic injustice, power, privilege, and how to be a better ally. And I said, yeah, I'm sure 5 minutes will cover it. So let's just get right down to it. Before I get into the meat of the presentation, I want to talk a little bit about current events. So, Black Lives Matter. In the wake of massive global protests against police brutality and racial injustice, many of us want to take action. And I wanted to spend the next few minutes with a few ideas for ways you can do that. A lot of these challenges are more systemic rather than individual. And the great news is that you can start here in the Drupal community. It's not just a pipeline problem in Drupal. We actually have plenty of marginalized people in our community right now. And a lot of people leave if they're experiencing unfair behavior or unwelcoming behavior. So I think we can do better. And I'm here with just a few suggestions for how you can do that. And then at the end, we'll talk about how you can get involved specifically in Drupal diversity. So first of all, I want you to read the code of conduct for DrupalCon. And I want you to read the code of conduct for every Drupal event you go to. These documents outline the kinds of behaviors that are accepted and encouraged and the kinds of behaviors that are not tolerated. They're really important, and it really helps you understand how we want to be as a community together. Once you're familiar with the code of conduct, consider becoming an official code of conduct contact. And I challenge you to say that 3 times fast. These folks are officially trained through a program set up by the community working group to uphold the code of conduct in their events and to help us have that safe and welcoming community for all. It's really an important role. Of course, you can also speak up. If you see someone saying something inappropriate, it's a little bit different here, of course, in the virtual space, but it's just as important. Make sure you're prepared to interrupt harassment. Speak up when you see a problem. It helps a lot if you can do that. Helps the marginalized people in our community not have to do it all the time. Notice who is in the room and who isn't. It's a little weird because we're not in a room right now, but I think you can still look at who's speaking the most, who's in meetings, those kinds of things. Notice who's getting invited and who's not. And then once you start to see that kind of information over and over again in your company or at Drupal events, start sponsoring marginalized people, get people invites into the room. Find leadership opportunities for people who you think are marginalized in your company or in Drupal. This is really powerful work, and it's a way to share your power with others. And of course, if you're an agency or have any kind of hiring responsibility at your company, fix your hiring process, fix your recruitment process, look at pay gaps. These are really, really important changes you can make that will have a material impact on underrepresented people in your company. And most people can't do this, but if you have that lever of power, please use it. Make sure you're paying equitably. Make sure you're hiring fairly. And of course, we've probably been hearing a lot about language lately, changing from blacklist to blocklist, changing the name of your branch. Stop saying powwow when you mean meeting. It's pretty easy and it has a big impact. Last but not least, I want to talk about Drupal diversity's offerings here at DrupalCon specifically. We have 2 more sessions of our marginalized speaker training happening today and tomorrow. These are designed for underrepresented speakers to work together, make pitches, write bios, anything it takes to get into a Drupal event. We need your voice on stage. So I hope you come and get some good ideas for what you might want to talk about at your next Drupal event. Additionally, we do have a booth. We are like way down on the page. So just keep scrolling. We're down there eventually. We are offering $200 of anti-racist books that you can win in the Passport program. And of course, you can ask us questions about our work and all kinds of things. So please come visit us at our booth. And then last but not least, we have been meeting every single week in Slack since 2016 to talk about these issues, to find things we want to work on together. So please join us. These are open to the public. They are global. And like I said, every Thursday, join us in Slack. Thank you so much for your time and have a great DrupalCon.
Thank you, Tara. This is great. So next up is Rain, and she will talk about accessibility. Hello.
Oh.
Take it away.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great DrupalCon. I'm here to talk about the state of Drupal accessibility today and how you can get involved. I'm one of 3 topic maintainers, along with Andrew McPherson and Mike Gifford. What I really want to talk about is that accessibility is absolutely essential for inclusion. The Drupal community values everyone, and if we aren't accessible in our code, in our interface, then we limit who can contribute. Accessibility is also kind of a law in many countries around the world. There are certain standards that need to be upheld in that in terms of accessibility in order to use a code base. And Drupal is really prominent in education and government, which means that accessibility is it's one of these things that becomes a risk or a liability if the system itself is not accessible. Not only that, but if we're not accessible, we end up leaving people out. And we believe in bringing people in and in good code. So Drupal itself as a community and as a platform is truly leading the way. We are doing a fairly good job overall. We have a very committed and diligent community, and a lot of our initiatives are considering accessibility right from the very beginning of the process, which is fantastic. But we do still need to do better as a community and in our code. As of about 20 minutes ago, there were still 526 open accessibility bugs in Drupal core, and 100 of those are blocked simply by the review and tested by the community part of the process. So that last step to have somebody go in and say, yes, this is actually accessible so that it can be moved into Drupal core. This has a big impact in adoption of Drupal, which is important to all of us. This quote here is from Carolyn Boyden and from UC Berkeley, and it's far too big to really read in this 20-second process. But what's important here is before we make the leap, our platform dev team needs to make sure that any new version not only maintains, but improves accessibility. So we need to think about that quote from Carolyn as we're thinking about everything that we do with Drupal and as we're thinking about maintaining our code in the long run. We need you to be an accessibility champion in order to make this happen. 3 of us truly isn't enough. And here I've put in a couple of pictures of additional individuals who've really made an impact in accessibility of Drupal core, but you can also join this process and be part of it. And some of the ways that you can do that. Well, first of all, we need you at every skill level. If you're a beginner, that's fantastic. Please don't belittle what you can contribute as a beginner. The ways that you can contribute, you can document your experiences and frustrations and challenges. Sometimes the only thing that's needed for somebody to come in and fix an accessibility bug is more clarity on why it's actually a challenge and what's going on for that individual. You can test patches when they come out. You can be that person who puts in that RTBC, reviewed and tested by the community moment in the issue queue to say, yes, this does actually work. You can also tab around or run automated testing and then document your experiences there. Also, sometimes all we need are screenshots or video recordings in order to be able to take the next step. Again, you can do this at any skill level. You don't need to be an expert. Another way that you can be part of this process is simply throw away your mouse for a day, once a week or once a month. Doing this will enable you to experience your interfaces with an accessibility challenge that is extremely common and can have a big impact. And when I say throw away your mouse, the thing is that it's very easy for us to subconsciously just move over and pick up our mouse. So literally give it to your child or your cat or do something so that you won't pick it up and use it, and try to use your interface without it. You can also install some extensions that are very helpful. One that I really love is No Coffee. The No Coffee extension will simulate the experiences of different types of vision degeneration or vision loss, and also various types of color blindness. So you can simply use this extension to look at the interface and experience it and see what kinds of challenges you encounter. And then you can file bugs or add to issues based on what you find. When you actually file a bug or add to the issue queue, the kinds of things that will really help us are the problem that you had, the context of that problem. What were you actually using? Tell us a little bit about yourself and why that was a challenge. Also, give us some information on how to reproduce the problem, and if possible or applicable, give us some kind of a screenshot or recording. And if you're not really sure what's useful, just ask. We do have a Slack channel and we are available, and there's a good community that can participate and give you some information. Another really concrete way that you can get involved is to choose an initiative or module that you'd like to be the accessibility champion for. Pick something that you really care about and see it through. Engage with us as the maintainers, ask questions, and help that module or initiative really get accessibility momentum. Mike is talking a lot about Olivero at this DrupalCon, and he is an accessibility champion for Olivero. You can also get involved by joining our Accessibility Bug Bash. We do have a contribution table in the contribution space, and we will have some working hours as well as a couple of BOFs, birds of a feather. Remember that we do still have a number of bugs that can be looked at, and Andrew McPherson did go through and tag a number of issues in the issue queue for DrupalCon Global. So come to the table, help us out, and maybe we can knock out some of these bugs before the end of DrupalCon. We also have regular office hours on the third Thursday of each month. We're still trying to figure out the best time for these office hours to be as inclusive globally as possible. But right now they are at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time on the third Thursday of every month. So if that works for you, you can stick it into your calendar. And that does mean that tomorrow, July 16th, at the end of DrupalCon, we do have our July office hours. So please come join us, come find out how you can contribute and be a champion. And we have a lot to be proud of. So thank you for participating.
Thank you, Rain. That was great. Next up is Christina talking about the Admin UI and JavaScript Modernization Initiative. All yours, Christina.
Thank you. So, hi, everybody. As Gabor said, I'm going to talk about the Admin UI and JavaScript Modernization Initiative. I'm Christina Trumillas. I'm one of the co-organizers of the initiative, and you can find me as Sekrina on Slack and Drupal.org, or Trumillas on Twitter and other social media apps. But I'm here today talking about the initiative, but actually there's a lot of people that actually helped over the years on this initiative. And I mean, not only developers, but also designers, accessibility experts, usability experts, and then a lot of people. And thanks of this work is why are we here today? So thank you, everybody. So we've actually reached several goals over the past years, like becoming an initiative, joining several initiatives together. The main one has been reaching beta and for Claro and having Claro in core, and we are aiming to have Claro stable for the next Drupal release, the core release 9.1. So that's our goal. But what's the initiative? Actually, the initiative is it actually started with because several group of people wanted to improve Drupal core. We are talking about JavaScript modernizations. We were talking also about usability modernizations, and also on a design perspective, changing the user interface. And actually, Claro is that piece. Claro is the piece that actually it's the piece between this new redesign, the new Drupal design system that actually became or it aims to be the new admin theme by default for Drupal core. But actually, what's Claro? Claro is actually a clone of 7. So we didn't actually start from scratch. We wanted to be sure that we weren't losing all the work that was made for 7 and all the stability that came with that. So we started replacing component by component. As you can see, it really looks super similar to 7, but it's actually a redesign of that. And we started replacing all the components, and after that, we started iterating after each component. So we've been kind of iterating over several things, and after getting a lot of feedback from several people, especially it was really useful, the feedback received from the accessibility team. For example, we can see here the focus styles, that the initial design was something and the final design ended up being super different. So it was a huge improvement. On the design side, we also took an approach where we were kind of collaborating asynchronously. We actually work with Figma, which is a new design tool that it will be basically like a Google Docs for designers, and actually helped a lot on this process and was actually a huge piece for that. Also, we've taken into account over the years that we can't break people's Drupal. We need to have in mind all the time the backwards compatibility, because this is going to be an admin theme, and it's going to be really important to respect people's configurations and everything. So we really have that in mind. We also need you. We have right now Claro as a beta into Drupal core, so please enable that and please test Claro and file as many bugs as you can, so we can get to stable with the fewer bugs possible. So we need the community to test Claro. And what's next for Claro, for the initiative after reaching this stable point? So we want to go beyond the components. We want to start thinking on regions, for example. We want to start thinking on other things that we can change. For example, we are thinking about creating some groups for changing the layout, for example. We're thinking about having several regions available on the admin interface, so we can actually customize properly the interface. And also we are thinking about having an independent style guide public to everybody for this new Drupal design system, so it can be used on several places. We're also thinking about having site theme customizations, but also user customizations. For example, having an accent color that can be customized, or that the user can actually activate the dark mode or the high contrast mode or something like that. And we also want to redesign parts of Drupal like the views UI or maybe other ones. We actually have to talk and plan about that. So please join us. You can find us on the admin UI or the admin UI design channels on the Drupal Slack. Or also you can join the global contributions groups. We created the one for Claro, where we created several events. So please join us either during the DrupalCon or later on. We're always happy to have new people joining the team. So thank you, everybody. I hope to see you around.
Thank you, Christina. Next up is Suzanne, and she will talk about the Promote Drupal initiative. Hi, Suzanne. It's all yours.
Great to be here. So my name is Suzanne Dargacheva, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Promote Drupal initiative. It's an initiative that started a couple years ago to help people in the Drupal community really come together to promote Drupal. And since then, there have been many translators, marketers, content writers, developers, really everyone from the community coming together to contribute in different ways. And a lot of these folks were already working to promote Drupal in their own local areas or in their own way. And this initiative is great because it provides us a way to really collaborate together and collaborate with the Drupal Association as well. So the goal of Promote Drupal is mostly outward facing, which I think is something we're often missing in the Drupal community. We really want to spread the word about Drupal outside of the community. We all know that Drupal is an amazing platform because we were here yesterday at the Dries Note. We know it's innovative, we know it's exciting. So Promote Drupal is here to help us tell those stories to other audiences and to really get those messages out and kind of position them more outside our community. So some recent updates. One thing you've all probably noticed, just before the launch of Drupal 9, Drupal has a new logo called an evergreen logo. And the goal of creating this new logo was to help us, well, first just re-energize the brand, but also to de-emphasize the change in version, because before we were often using that 8-drop logo that you are all used to. And this can help us reduce anxiety about upgrading from one version of Drupal to another. So behind that logo, there's actually a whole brand. There's a brand book that you can use to develop your own marketing materials around Drupal. And that includes things like typography and colors and image choices and things like that. So if you're selling Drupal to new audiences or communities, that can really be helpful. This brand has been used to create lots of materials already. So there's already kind of a base of marketing materials that you can use. There's a one-pager about Drupal 9 that a designer on my team developed in just a few hours. And I think the brand book really helps with those kind of initiatives because it already answers a lot of designers' questions about what they should be creating, what they should be designing. There's also a landing page on Drupal 9 that some of you might have been using to spread the word about the benefits of Drupal 9, what's new to kind of help communicate that. You might also be referencing that as a new user. And there's actually a work underway in the community to help translate that page. We're also putting together marketing materials to use at conferences outside of the Drupal bubble. So while DrupalCon is going on this week, and Drupal is obviously very present here, Drupal is actually also being represented at another virtual conference about digital marketing for higher education. So there's materials being developed that you can use to represent Drupal at other conferences as well. And that's something we want to do more of. You might have already heard about the Drupal pitch deck project. This is a deck, a set of Google Slides that you can use to pitch Drupal to new audiences. And there's actually over 100 case studies, as well as some talking points about why Drupal is so great and what the benefits are. And this pitch deck has already been translated into many languages. There's work underway to make it easier to export so that you can easily just grab the slides in the language of your choice. So beyond all these efforts to promote Drupal outside the community to new audiences, there's a great project that went along with the launch of Drupal 9, Celebrate Drupal. Dan Lemon put together this website, celebratedrupal.org. And I think it's also important to keep the brand alive within the community. And you can continue going to this site actually, even though Drupal 9 is already launched, and continue to add images and videos and tell stories there. So I think that's exciting that we have that project for us to use. So there's many ways to get involved, like you'll hear with all the initiatives. We're really eager to help you contribute. In this initiative, we're looking for marketers and content editors, translators, agency leaders. It's a great way to make a non-code contribution. So if you know that you want to get involved and you know even a little bit about the Drupal brand, we'd love to get your input. And it's also a great way for newcomers to get involved because we really value outside opinions. A couple examples of that, we have some new projects that we're just starting, there's a survey that we want to send out to evaluators that we're putting together. So you can get involved in helping us do that. And we want to also conduct some interviews as part of this project. And another new initiative is to create a marketing calendar that we can use to kind of join efforts between the Drupal Association and the community and just help you spread those great stories in your local area. So that's another project that we need help with. And there's some issues there already, but if you want to get onboarded and really know where to fit in, I know it can be intimidating as a newcomer. You can come join us on Friday. We have a section of the Contrib website. You can join that group. There's the link. And if you're on Drupal Slack, you can join us in the Promote Drupal channel. And if you're not on Drupal Slack, you should join. So thanks so much, and hope to see you around the DrupalCon.
Thank you, Suzanne. So next up is Mike, and he will talk about Olivero. Take it away, Mike.
Hey, everybody. Holy cow. I am kind of nervous here. All right. I'm still seeing the intermission slide.
Do it.
There we go. Right. So yeah, so I'm talking about Olivero. Olivero is Drupal 9's new front-end theme, right? And my name is Mike Herschel. I'm a senior front-end developer at Lullaby, and you can find me on Twitter at Mike Herschel. And so yeah, it's not just me. We also have Putra Bonacorsi, John Witowski, Matthew Tiff, Jared Pontrat, and I don't know if it's showing up there, but Alice from the Brady Bunch kind of joined our group to make us cookies. And these people are indispensable in helping and putting this together. And I just want to give you all hugs, and I wish that this pandemic wasn't happening so we could do all types of hugs. But it's not just us either. We have a whole team of people helping us and contributors. And this is kind of just like a subset of them. In addition to all the people who actually who are committers there, there's people reviewing patches, there's people creating issues, there's people working on stuff and commenting, and without these people, we would be dead and stuck in the mud. So if you're any of these people, please pat yourself, and yeah, so thank you so much. Last year, the Drupal community mourned the passing of Rachel Olivero, and we've named this new theme in her honor. Rachel touched many people in both the Drupal and accessibility communities. We chose the name Olivero not just because we have made accessibility a top priority, but because we aspire to develop this theme in a manner that is consistent with the qualities that Rachel embodied, including patience, generosity, and inclusivity. This is what it looks like. Hey, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Look, we have drop-down menus. We have an option for an always-on mobile navigation if you have too many menu items. The site branding area in the top left can change colors. The background can be gray or white to accommodate whatever. You can kind of make this theme your own. And yeah, there's a lot of really cool things in here. And how did we get here? You know, it needs to look modern, it needs to look friendly. We don't control the content, and we don't control the content types. We don't really control anything. And on top of that, the community is somewhat opinionated, and yes, I am talking to you. So how did we get here? Well, we identified some stakeholders of who this couldn't happen without, and we sent a poll to them where they could choose between adjectives such as formal or casual or friendly or professional, novel, conservative, and we had each of our stakeholders kind of just put their little dots and some comments on each of these, so we kind of knew where we were going with the design of this theme. And so we came up with a couple options. We came up with 3 options ranging from more traditional to more modern. And the option that was chosen was number 2. And then it was kind of off to the races, and we started working in Figma and iterating and going through and making changes and making sure we could accommodate different things. And so at that point, we have to start development. Oh no. So we have so many technical challenges in front of us. Like, we have to handle everything thrown at us, just random blocks. And we need to make it look good. We have to balance modern technologies and older browsers. Accessibility is a huge priority. There's all types of coding requirements for core. We can't just throw in like later JavaScript, you know, and then IE11. IE11 has proven to be much more of a drag than I thought it would be. But yeah, and I want to give a huge shout out to the teams from Claro and Umami. Without their prior contributions, which we built on top of, we would be stuck in the mud. They fought some battles for us that they didn't even know at the time, like things like getting fonts, you know, web fonts and post CSS. And if you contributed to these, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So where are we at right now? We're in kind of the final stages of alpha right now. We're concentrating on stabilizing regions and fixing bugs, and but it actually like looks good and it works good. There's actually some like sites that are live out there right now, and I want you to use it. It's drupal.org/project/Olivero. It's looking pretty good. So we're trying to get into core, right? So how is that going to happen? Well, we're going to have a beta stage, and we're going to focus on accessibility testing, code quality, and edge case bugs. In a little over a month, we actually want to get that patch included in there, and then 9.1 comes out in December. You know, it'll probably be included as experimental or something like that. But after that, we need to make it stable, and we want it to become the default theme, hopefully in Drupal 9.2. We want to figure out some of the same problems that Clara was figuring out, like including dark mode, color switching, and who knows what's after that. There's lots of really cool options that this is opening up. You can try this now. You are in front of your computer. Go to lb.cm/Olivero. That will actually pull up a Drupal-powered website. I think it's running 8.8 right now with Olivero in there. It redirects you to a URL that's powered by Tugboat, which is like, I'm so thankful for it. It's full site previews on every PR branch. Shout out, thank you to all the people at Tugboat that helped me with this. And so we're talking about this tomorrow. Putra and I are talking about turning a wild idea into a core initiative tomorrow at 9:15 ET Eastern Time, or at 1:15 GMT. And directly after this is what I think is a way better presentation. Jen and Jared are talking about the design process for Olivero. I've seen this presentation before, and it is fantastic. And you all should see this. And that's it for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So this was the Olivero initiative. And last but not at all least, Ellie will talk about how we are mentoring our new contributors, regardless of what they want to work on. So it's all yours, Ellie.
Great. Thank you. Hi there. I'm Ellie. I do some leadership and organizing activities with the Drupal core mentoring group. Drupal core mentoring is a group of mentors and organizers who help regular people become contributors to the Drupal project. I've been doing this for a few years now, since around DrupalCon Austin, when my mentors overrode my own imposter syndrome to get me to be a mentor. So Drupal core mentoring got started back in 2012. This is the classic picture of Tim Plunkett with the mohawk. I'm open to suggestions for new vintage Drupal contribution photos, such as this. So please send them my way. But everything started when XJM suggested Core Office Day at DrupalCon Denver after the success of Core Office Hours in 2011. And today we have usually about 30 mentors at every DrupalCon. This is the group from Amsterdam last fall. And we've grown mentored contribution participation from under 100 people to over 250 new contributors at DrupalCons worldwide, which is pretty nifty. So why would you contribute as a Drupal user, however you may use it, as an editor or designer or programmer, code person, whatnot? You can share your specific skill set with others who don't have that skill set. And by combining all our unique expertise, we can really build a product that will work way better for everybody, as well as developing a community that is really healthy and robust for everybody in it. Why mentor? These folks are a couple of my mentors, Rachel and Joelle. Mentors are also experienced in a variety of skill sets, all the things I mentioned before, but some of us are good at organizing and running meetings. That would be me. And others are really expert at navigating the Drupal issue queue, knowing where to find anything, and knowing how to help you help yourself. It's the old teaching you how to fish thing. But the cool thing about mentoring is that it builds. So you mentor new contributors, they mentor each other, mentors mentor mentors mentor mentors. I think that's right. And everybody learns and grows. So for DrupalCons, we usually have a lot of planning in advance and get everything set up. We have a first-time contributors workshop in person. We do mentor orientations and triage, and on the mentored contribution day, actually sit folks down at tables based on interest and topic area and what you might need help with or want to work on. We've also done plenty of virtual mentoring in the past, so this isn't totally new to us as mentors. When I got started, it was entirely in IRC, which was a little while ago. And we've done a lot of other virtual events like Drupal Global Contribution Weekend and a lot of trainings and the speaker diversity workshops, and just all kinds of stuff already happens online. So this year, in the last like 2 months, we had to figure out how to merge everything to do DrupalCon Global correctly. So we needed a space where people could gather for free outside of the hop-in platform, because contribution space has always been free and open for anybody to drop into, whether they had a DrupalCon ticket or not. And we needed a way to gather people to tables and put them in touch with others working on the same topics. You might be wondering exactly where you personally should start. And for that, we have this handy flowchart. It's actually on the events.drupal.org website for DrupalCon Global under Program Contribution Events. So you can take a look at this and think about where you want to go on Friday or during the week. For anything though, any mentoring or contributing, you're going to go to contrib2020.getopensocial.net, and that is our contribution space. You just sign up, create an account, join some groups, and then in each group you can join events. The groups all have different topics, so it's a group instead of a table. That's the sort of one-to-one there. And the group leads will add events for different mentored contribution times and whatever else may need to be done, and specify where it will happen. So this is the group. I think we've actually changed the name since I made this slide. It's now called Mentored Contribution. So first-time contributors and mentors, please join this group. I'm pointing up, the slide's above me. I don't know where it is for you. And then each group will select where they're going to meet. We'll mostly be in Drupal Slack, so that's drupal.org/Slack if you're not already in our Slack. And it'll also have a first-time contributor workshop. It's going to be recorded as well as live, so you can kind of step through what you might need ahead of time if you have the time, and otherwise just join us on Friday and we'll get you started. Whew, I don't think I've taken a breath in a minute. This is fun. For mentor orientation, we did one yesterday. Mentors, if you take a look in the mentoring channel on Drupal Slack, you can see the threads from our mentor orientation, and we'll do another round today at 2015 UTC. And for mentors also, we'll be doing some novice issue triage today at 16:15. That's also UTC. And usually at DrupalCons, we have a virtual booth. Wait, no, usually we have a physical booth. This DrupalCon, we have a virtual booth, which doesn't actually have a hologram in it. That's not how virtual mentoring works, just to be clear, but Mike Herschel very helpfully contributed this to the presentation. Virtual mentoring will be a little more text-based and a little less interactive than a hologram. All right, so that I think is it from me. Please join us. We've got Mentored Contribution Friday, first time contributor workshop as you can, and on Friday, and general contribution throughout the week. There are lots of topic tables available in Open Social. Just head to that URL and get started. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I think this was a great rundown of a lot of the initiatives that we have in Drupal. There's even more that we didn't have time for, but our time is very well up by now. We don't have time for questions right now. I did not have the capacity to watch the stage chat, but we have a BOF starting in 4 minutes. So everybody is welcome at the BOF. All of our speakers will hop over to that BOF, and it will be a lively discussion for 45 minutes with all of us. So feel free to jump there. If you are interested in the new initiatives, forming of the new initiatives that were announced by Dries, there's a working session, sort of, a new initiatives conversation later today that Dries will also be present at. So feel free to hop by there, join the discussions, make proposals, and be part of shaping Drupal's future. So see you in both of these discussions about these initiatives we presented now and all of the initiatives that Dries presented as well later today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Gabor, and thank you to all of the initiative leads who joined us for this session. It's been wonderful to hear all about what's going on in Drupal. We did run a little bit long, so I just wanted to give some highlights of what's going on. So again, you can join those follow-up BOF conversations with the initiative leads. You can join the Community Summit, which has started, and I'm sure nobody would mind if you joined just a little bit late. Also, you can stick around here for the next 15 minutes or so for a presentation about the new design, the new brand identity for Drupal. The brand identity work for Drupal was very generously donated by 611, an agency in Italy that has done amazing work for the Drupal Association and the Drupal community in the past. So I'm thrilled to begin our little intermission period here and welcome Paolo up to the stage to talk a little bit about how that brand identity was created and how we moved forward with creating this new identity for Drupal. So once Paolo is able to share screen here, we will get started with that. Here we go. All right, so it's just connecting now. And thanks for your patience with our transitions here. We've got a lot of back-to-back content going on at DrupalCon, so it can definitely be a little bit tricky. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Paolo. Welcome
Hi.
up to the main stage. I just want to thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. I want to thank you personally for all the work that you've done with the Drupal Association in the past and all the contributions you've made to the Drupal project. It's been wonderful and a great experience to work with you and your team. And I will let you go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, so since this is an intermission, we start with some music to take a break. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. Let me introduce Didier Caria.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. The sun in the sky, you know how I feel. So breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling fishing down the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. So blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. And I'm feeling good. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Wow. Thank you, Nadia. So let me try to share my screen and I start my presentation. I hope that everything goes smoothly here. All right. You should be starting seeing my presentation. I hope so. And let me start now. Okay. Hello, everybody. You just listened to Lydia Correa. Is a musician and especially a friend who gave us his interpretation of an evergreen song like Nina Simone, Feeling Good. Keep this definition in mind, evergreen, because it will be the key to telling you a story, the story of the Drupal logo. In the meantime, you can see a list of evergreen songs popping up on my left in the event chat room. My colleagues are putting them. So vote for your favorite song in the next 10 minutes. Didier, we play that one at the end of the speech. I am Paolo Libanora. I am Web Area Manager in 611. But what is 611? Well, 611 is a digital creative agency. We are based in Turin, Italy, the capital of innovation here. And we are a team of 25 people. We are bike lovers, dads, musicians, travelers, artists, moms, blue-haired girls, some French. And yes, we are also nerds. We are in love with different skills, as most of you, I presume. But especially we are in love with Drupal, as all of you, I presume. Now, I want to tell you a story. The story of the Drupal logo from the beginning. I have to thank Christian Jansen, Agile Drop, and Evolving Web. Through their blog posts, I learned a lot about this story. Since I've been in the community only for the last 12 years, I don't know exactly all the details about the first year, so please correct me through the chat if I say something wrong. So let's start. Have you ever seen it? It was 20 years ago. The first logo appeared even before the first official release of Drupal. The logo was created by Dries' nephew, whom he shared the dorm with. You know, at the time, Drupal was named Drop, due to that funny story when Dries wanted to register the domain name Dorp, which means village, community in Dutch, but he mistyped Dorp as Drop. And so drop.org was launched. Then after some months, a new version appeared. Now the black drop is placed inside the drop type. But it was 1 year later, then the first DrupalCon version appeared. The idea of Christian Jansen, aka Kika, was to put two drops sideways together to form an infinity symbol. When placed inside a filled circle, it resembled a face. After more work by Steven Wittens, aka Unicode D, the DrupalCon was created, a stylish drop with the infinity eye, a round nose, and a miscute smile. And then after 4 years, the 3D DrupalCon as we know it appeared in the Drupal code base. Yes, I put all the source with the Git commit that you can see if you are very nerd as me. Anyway, it was 2008 when a big change happened. Drupal needed a watermark, and Mark Burton created a Drupal watermark while working on the Drupal.org redesign project. And then, years later, when Drupal 8 was released, a stylish drop emerged to represent the new version of the software. With a cutout of an 8 inside the drop, the logo is simpler and slicker than the DrupalCon. It has been used in pitch decks and product comparison, and having a more mature logo allowed us to visually represent the modernization in the underlying technology of Drupal. But then what? We had a fantastic DrupalCon, but not a true logo. The drop icon is a well-loved community symbol, a character that has been adapted 1,000 different ways in a typical open source fashion, just like Drupal itself. If you ever attended a Drupal event, you have seen variation of this original drop. Although loved by Drupalers, it's a bit of curiosity to outsiders and probably too grassroots for marketers and digital directors trying to select a solution for their next ambitious project. So what to do for the upcoming Drupal 9 release? With the release of Drupal 9, as you know, the Drupal project would have realized the vision of transforming its development process. Instead of each major version of Drupal, such as version 6 to 7, requiring replatforming from end user, Drupal has become an evergreen software platform that receives continual innovation and updates. So in early 2020, the Drupal Association opened a call for designers to help creating a Drupal logo reflecting this new evergreen philosophy. And we, 611 received the great privilege and responsibility to lead the process. Yes, I interrupt myself because from time to time I want to see the chat, but it's not easy when I speak. Anyway, so let's start. We were so honored to have this opportunity, and we really enjoyed working with the Drupal Association through this process. The requirements were very clear: recognizability, color, accessibility. And we worked on several iterations, creating various proposals based on the following concepts: continuity, evolution, flexibility, dynamism, integration. The goal was clear: create a new evergreen logo independent from the version. Many different new drops were designed and discussed, but sorry. Then the final solution came out, as simple and immediate as strong, a kind of creative epiphany. Why create a new drop completely different from the others marks of the Drupal official ecosystem and increase the visual fragmentation of a brand that want to strengthen over time, conquering uniqueness and solidity? We don't need another drop. We need consistency. And there it is. We also created and updated the Drupal brand book to include all the guidelines, such as all the possible variation with background and the logo with Drupal watermark and alongside a version number. And here you can see how the Drupal logo appears in a product comparison. Finally, a quick recap. Consistency has become the key value of the story. A unique sign to avoid visual fragmentation is a clear reference that unites all the logos of the Drupal universe: Drupal as software, Drupal Association, and DrupalCon. And we are very, very proud to be the agency that worked closely with the Drupal Association to realize such a huge, huge project. So thank you. We started with the music. We told you a passion story. Let's go back to the music to greet you. We do it with the evergreen song you voted the most. So thanks to you, thanks to the Drupal community, and to Didier Caria, who will play another song right now.
somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why can't I am somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up with clouds far behind me, where trouble men like lemon drops high above the chimney tops, where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star, but wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Trouble men like lemon drops, but high above chimney tops, that's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I? Let's one all together. Na 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 na. Ooh, ooh, Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed a bit.
We really did. It was fantastic. I was singing along from behind the screen.
Cool. Okay, so thanks a lot for the opportunity to showcase our work. It was, as I said, it was a really, really good experience, as all the experience that we spent together designing the brand, the Drupal brand identity. So we are so happy and honored to have this opportunity.
Thank you again, and thank you to all of the team at 611 who worked so hard making this contribution to Drupal and Drupal's brand identity. With that, we're going to conclude this intermission. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you throughout the rest of the event. Enjoy day 2.
Bye.